Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more interesting stories like these. Now, let's get into today's story video. My 33 female, fiance, 35 male, just ended our engagement, canceled our wedding, and broke up with me because I wouldn't have dated him 10 years ago, and I only want him for his money. I'm speechless and can't stop weeping. I'm at a loss for words and am still stunned. We had already planned our wedding and sent out invites. I haven't even informed the guests, and I'm at a loss for what to do. I'm really ashamed and can't believe he'd do anything like this to me. So here's what transpired. I work in therapy and earn $65,000 per year. But my ex is a senior software engineer tech lead who earns $600,000 per year and has a net worth of $7 million from investing in cryptocurrency. I know there's a large income gap between us, but he's always been okay with that and spoiled me, and I have never once asked him for money or anything. I'm drawn to him not because of his success, but because he's a clever, caring guy who I know would be an excellent father to any children we could have together. We were browsing through Facebook and reading through one of my bridesmaids' accounts when he noticed a photo of me in college studying art with my then boyfriend, who was a tall athlete. He began asking things like, "Who's that guy?" and "Is that you?" and "Why don't you have any images of you from 10 years ago on your page?" And I told him it was my ex and that the past is the past and I don't want that aspect of my life on my Facebook anymore. So he becomes enraged at me and claims that he's never really seen the people I've dated in the past, and he begins asking a slew of questions. It's none of his business, I told him. Anyway, he goes, and I don't hear from him for a few days, despite my best efforts to reach him. He calls me a few days later, claiming that a buddy gave him images of my previous boyfriends and that every single man I've been with has been a tall white and that I was a crazy party girl, and then he blew out on me, calling me all sorts of derogatory names. A gold digger said that I would never have dated him 10 years ago since he's average height, geeky, and underweight, and that I just desire him for his money today. I can't believe my friend and bridesmaid would betray me and tell him these things only to add gasoline to the fire. But that's not the purpose of my essay. He informed me that I never make him feel beautiful, and that I never have with him because I'm not attracted to him, and that this demonstrates it. I told him that wasn't true, and that I'm insanely attracted to him and love him, and that my tastes have changed because I want to start a family, and that I want a man who's made something of himself and is educated like me, and that those are losers with whom I'd never want to start a family, and that we were just young and dumb and having fun. He advised me not to worry since it was all over. He canceled the hall reservation we had made. He said that our engagement is ended and that he would never speak to me again. I attempted to call him. I've reached out to his friends and family. Everyone is taken aback and has no idea what is going on with him. All I need is some advice. So, what should I do? My whole existence has been turned upside down. We were talking about buying a house together, having children, and me becoming a stay-at-home mom. And now I feel like I've lost the love of my life and the future we had planned together over something trivial. Update. We decided to call off the wedding and have informed everyone involved. In a subsequent conversation with my ex-fiancé, I learned that he had been shown a video of me doing activities with my ex by my best friend, who had told me from the video that I looked to enjoy it and that I had never done it to him. I tried to explain that I was coerced into doing these acts and that I had never enjoyed them, that I had grown up, and that my tastes had changed over time. In addition, I informed him that I would never be subjected to such pressure again, but he refused to budge. He sent me an email with a video he had made with my best friend in which they were doing some pretty insane things that I would never do with him or anyone else ever again because they are embarrassing and ugly. I immediately deleted the email. I'd want to react to a few of the comments. People made comments about how I didn't have with him or make him feel special, and I took offense to that. I've matured and acquired different interests over the years, and I'm no longer the wild party girl I used to be. Anyone who attempts to push me to do anything I don't want to do will be met with a resounding rejection. We get together for on a regular basis, maybe once every 2 weeks or such, which I suppose is quite a lot for our age group, of course. When it came to initiating, I never did it because I'm not the sort of person that does it. I did turn him down a lot when he did it, but if he's not in the mood, I'm not in the mood. I feel it just demonstrates a lack of maturity on his and the commenters' part to assume that he has the right to access my body whenever he wants without my permission. A prenuptial agreement is something I would never consider obtaining. I'll have a huge career gap if we get married and I stay at home to raise our children. As a result, I'll be entitled to a portion of his money as compensation for the sacrifices I'll make during the marriage and as a result of having children for him. I continue to feel that the past is in the past and that it is none of his business what happened in the past. A lot of the folks that are posting here need to mature. It's just that people have history. That's the whole point of it. I'm still holding out hope that my ex and I will be able to reconcile. But if it doesn't work out, I'll simply go back to dating and get on with my life. And I'll have to scrutinize them more closely to make sure they aren't controlling possessive man babies who will throw a tantrum if they don't get what they want right away. I am confident in my actions, and I have no reason to feel sorry for myself. Because my ex is behaving like a possessive and controlling child, it's likely that many of the individuals who believe I've escaped with my life are accurate. Overall, he has suffered a setback. I would have given him the whole of my estate. In lieu of that, I'll give it to my future husband. Story 2. GF cheated emotionally. For example, I first lived with F for around 2 years during the beginning of our relationship. We had a lot of disagreements, yet we still cared for and loved each other despite everything. I begged her to give me some time to think on my life and our relationship more than 2 months ago, and she agreed. During the first 3 weeks of our vacation, we didn't text or speak with one another at all. In one instance, she asked if I could come by her house once or twice a week for a week to check on it while she was out of town with her parents. And she graciously agreed, giving me her house key in exchange for the time being. Following that, we continued to speak on the phone on a regular basis, and in between sentences, we both remarked, "I miss you," or "I want to see you again soon." "I'm seeing a friend tonight, just so you know," she texted a friend earlier this month. I called her and politely inquired as to whether she and that guy were discussing anything or even up. I also requested her to inform me not to contact her again, to let her go and stop talking to her, and to remind me that I wanted to be closer to her again. She agreed, and I thanked her. "No," she cried emphatically, "she has absolutely no intention of being in any way associated with that guy." In the latter hours of the evening, I phoned her and informed her that I may want to reconsider things now that she's meeting this individual, and that I would not bother her again. Something, though, propelled me forward. Something didn't sit quite right with me. She didn't pick up the phone when I called. I drove to her house and knocked on her door in less than 20 minutes. My curiosity was piqued by the prospect of seeing them with my own eyes. I got the distinct sensation that she was playing a joke on me. I knocked on the door twice before opening it the third time. They were partially naked in the bedroom as they prepared for encounters. I ran into her the next day to hand her the key, and she apologized, saying, "Sorry, I don't deserve it." I gave her the key the next day. She doesn't explain herself how she got herself into this dilemma, and they never had any relations with one another. She was well aware that I was hounding her to get back together before that night, but she decided to have relations with that other guy instead of me. She continued to call me, apologizing, expressing regret that we were unable to be happy together, and so on and so forth. Without a certain, I do not believe they were without. Would you forgive her? And rekindle your relationship with her if this happened? Remember, we weren't officially back together at the time. I still admire her, but I'm baffled by her behavior. What aggravates me even more is that I questioned her the next day about her actual intentions with him, to which she stated that she had not, and that she did not. They were half naked 4 hours later, as if something had been planned between them. Would you be willing to forgive her and make amends?